Okay, the Young Turk Revolution of 1908. So the first thing we have to ask ourselves when looking at a revolution is why. And basically, the Committee of Union and Progress wanted to restore the Ottoman Constitution of 1878. This is a picture of the Committee of Union and Progress, which are also known as the Young Turks. The implications of the Constitution of 1878 were that it represented the first modern constitution in the world outside of Europe and the Americas. It reaffirmed the equality of all Ottoman subjects. It gave the assertion that the empire was capable of resolving its problems. It provided clear evidence of the extent to which European influences operated among a section of the Ottoman bureaucracy. It also gave a desirable check on autocracy, which is when one person has all the power. And with the Constitution, they would have a better opportunity to influence their policies. And this is a picture of the first page of the Constitution of 1878. Important figureheads were Murad Bey, Ahmed Riza, and Prince Sabaheddin. Okay, Murad Bey preached liberal ideas with strong Islamic feeling and was a part of the Committee of Union and Progress. Ahmed Riza set the ideas of reform and was also a part of the Committee of Union and Progress. The prince was looked down upon for his way of thinking. He sought unity between Christians and Muslims, which was never sought to before. He was also a part of the Committee of Union and Progress. Ottomanism. It was a political doctrine of the Ottoman Empire. It proclaimed the equality of all Ottomans disregarding their nationality or religion. Ottoman patriotism is the most noticeable idea that came from the young Ottoman. It was the love of their country and their willingness to sacrifice for it. So the three parties were the conservative, who didn't want to change their tradition, attitudes, or values. The liberal were more open to new behaviors, and were willing to go away from traditions. The nationalistic had a strong patriotic feeling, and its belief that of superiority of one's own country. That influenced the Young Turks was that around the same time period there were revolutions of the Americas and Great Britain. There was also the Enlightenment ideas of life, liberty, and equality, and the idea that everyone deserved basic rights.
Sultan Abdulhamid II was the leader of the Young Turk Revolution. He marked the onset of the second constitutional era and restatement of the parliament, and also did the restatement of the 1876 Constitution. And the picture below shows who Abdulhamid II was. The timeline: in 1889, conspiracy in the military medical college spread to other unstable colleges. In 1897, Murad Bey preached liberal ideas. Ahmed Riza set out idea of reform. 1902, Mayor split with the Young Turk exile. July 3, 1908, there was a demand for the restoration of the Constitution. July 24, 1908, Abdulhamid announced the restoration of the Constitution. Revolution infancy. The Young Turk movement began among exiled Ottomans in palaces such as Paris and Geneva. Leaders went abroad to reinforce Ottoman exiles in Paris, Geneva, and Cairo. Sultans attempted to suppress uprising, failed, and rebellion spread rapidly. Failures of the Young Turks. Movement started with democratic principles but later turned autocratic. Reign of the Young Turk was no less rigid, cruel, and autocratic than the Turkish Sultan. Superiority complex created disharmony among different castes. It didn't adopt policy of decentralization in place of centralization, therefore it made their fall imminent. The Young Turk Revolution failed due to their mistakes. Results of the Young Turk Revolution was that there was gradual creation of new governing elite. There was also indirectly led to the deposition of Sultan Abdulhamid II in favor of Mehmed the following year. It opened a path for consolidation over the Ottoman civil and military administration. Committee of Union and Progress of 1913. The Young Turks were a small organization that consolidated under Committee Union and progress. Revolution. The revolts began in mid-April 1908 under Young Turk leadership. Sultan's attempt to suppress this uprising failed due to the popularity of the movement among the troops themselves. The rebellion spread rapidly due to ideology of Ottomanism. Therefore, in July 24, Sultan Abdulhamid II capitulated and announced restoration of the 1876 constitution.